Welcome back to FM Story. In the last episode, we began Season 10, and our squad looks markedly different from what it did last season when we won the treble. All the big clubs came in for all of our players, and we've had to rebuild the squad during the summer. Things have started well in the league. We are top of the table after 8 games. Champions League hasn't started as well. We've lost 2 from 2, and we're in the quarter-final of the Scottish League Cup. So without further ado, let's get into the action. We're at the end of October, and things have pretty much continued where they left off at the end of the last episode. League form, pretty decent. Champions League form, terrible. We started with a home game against Dunfermline, really comfortable victory, 4-0. We then had a home game against Livingston in the League Cup, and because of the run of games we had in September and the run of games that was ahead of us in October, we picked pretty much a second string team for that game. We went 1-0 down. We were 1-0 down at half time after missing a penalty in the first half. We then went 2-1 up before allowing them to equalise in the 89th minute. We went ahead at the start of the second half of extra time. They pulled it back to 3-3 later on in extra time. And in the end, it went all the way to penalties, and we won 5-4 on penalties to see us into the semi-final where we're going to play against Hearts. Hearts was actually the next league game at home. Again, another really comfortable victory, although we made it hard for ourselves. We were 2-0 up and conceded a goal. We were 3-1 up and conceded a goal. But in the end, we were too strong and came away with a 5-2 victory. We've played one Champions League game since the last episode, which was against Freiburg. We went away to them. Again, against another one of our former players, Lucas Asadi was starting for Freiburg, and we just weren't very good and came away with a 1-0 loss. Then we went away to St Johnstone, and one of our better performances of the season, they got a late goal, consolation goal, but we really controlled that game. And then Aberdeen in the last game. The first half, both sides hit the woodwork 3 times. Then we opened the scoring right at the start of the second half. They equalised almost immediately. We went back in front and were pretty comfortable until a mad goalmouth scramble led to De Los Santos getting a 94th minute equaliser for Aberdeen with practically the last kick of the game. So slightly disappointing, but at least we didn't lose. And obviously, as we can see, we've got the Scottish League Cup semi-final up next. As far as the league's concerned, what it means is we are currently sat top of the table. We're a point clear of Rangers. We're 4 points clear of Celtic. So it's still pretty tight at the top there. We have only lost that one game at the very start of the season away at Dundee United. Santos took a while to settle in at left back when we signed him in January, but has been outstanding in the last month or so, really starting to hit the ground running, and hopefully we can continue this league form. There was just a bit of there was a news item popped into the inbox which I found rather amusing. Our youth setup is now recognised amongst the world's best. Apparently, we've got the number 9 academy in the world. No one's really come from it. We've got Stevie Spears, who's in the first team squad, who's barely played for us because he hasn't really developed. Right. The other players that are mentioned are someone who's in Hearts under 18s, someone who's in our under 18s and hasn't come close to playing, and then Scott Walker, the goalkeeper that we had to use a couple of seasons ago, when as soon as he came out of the youth intake, we needed him because both our goalkeepers were injured at that point. He's away on loan at Wraith Rovers, but that's the extent of what's come out of our academy, and we're number 9 in the world. But I'm guessing the reason is because we've managed to get the board to put money into it. We do now have 20 for youth recruitment, 20 for junior coaching. They won't improve the youth facilities above a 16 at the moment, but presumably that's because we're spending all the money on trying to getting new ground. But things are, hopefully this year we actually get a decent youth intake, because last year I don't think we actually even signed anyone up from the youth intake. There was no one of any real, looked like there were going to be any real ability out that came out of that. But now we need to focus on the League Cup semi-final, try and get back to another final there, and try and defend the trophy that we won last season. This is the side we've picked for the semi-final. It's basically the same team that played the last league game. We are going to probably have to make some subs early in the second half, because there's probably going to be some tired players as it goes along. But if we manage to beat Hearts, we're going to have a rematch against Rangers after last year's League Cup final. So they're going with the 4-4-2. We're going with the flat three in midfield, and then the three with the two wide players. So hopefully we can get at them. All right, Dumitru with the throw to Deli Basic. Back to Deli Basic. First cross blocked. He's into the box. Keeper it came either off the keeper or off the post. It bounced out to Nuevo, and he smashed it home. And that's the perfect start to this game. It was Dumitru and Deli Basic down the right hand side. His first cross gets blocked, and then he just drives into the box and comes off the keeper, and then Nuevo basically has an empty net to fire it into to put us 1-0 up. There's not much else happened in this game since the goal, though. A couple of bookings, but no real chances for anyone. Right, Dumitru with a throw in our half. Deli Basic just dinks it forward for Dumitru into Basauri. Laterna. Santos on the overlap. Goes down, but Laterna's got it. Pulls it back to Carlos Medina. It hit Nuevo and went in, and he cannot have been offside there, surely. Surely that's got to be given. He looked like he was well onside. And it has been given. So Santos goes around the outside. There's a tackle there. Laterna picks the ball up, pulls it back to the edge of the area to Medina, who takes it a touch, looks to bend it into the far corner. It hits Nuevo on the chest. The keeper dived past it because he was going for the corner, and we're 2-0 up. Right, Laterna with a free kick to the back post. Deli Basic with a header. Towering. Oh, it was Casanova, in fact, with a towering header at the back post. And somehow we're now 3-0 up. Just quickly taking free kick, lifts it up to the back post. Casanova gets above 2 and powers the header past the keeper. All right, goal kicking injury time. They've gone long. Santos got the header. Basauri's picked up the ball. Goes back to Dumitru. He tries to go forward down the right hand side. He's tackled. But Santos picks up the clearance. Laterna turns his man, drifts into the box. What a goal that is. And that's 4-0 at half time, and that's got to be surely us in the final. They smash the clearance across field. Santos heads it down to Laterna. He's got 2 men in front of him. Just drifts inside. Goes past another one. I mean, the keeper has made that a lot easier a finish than it needed to be. He dived past his post, but it's 4-0. And going into half time, that's exactly the kind of performance we wanted in the first half. We can probably afford to maybe make a few changes early in the second half. Just rest some players for the big games we've got coming up. All right, we sent the same team out to start the second half, but in sort of the first 10 minutes or so, we'll probably make a couple of changes. Right, they've got a free kick. Palacios is going to take it on his left foot. Hammers it towards goal, and Zebra turns it behind for a corner. They've obviously had a rocket at half time because we didn't really see much of them attacking in the first half. Corner comes in. It's headed up in the air by Rackler. We've kind of got a foot to that, but it's still alive. But luckily this time the shot's straight into Zebra's hands. So we've made a couple of changes to get some fresh legs on. We've brought Medina off because he was struggling in the last game, and we've replaced the whole of the front three as well. Right, another corner for them. Palacios to take this time. In swinger on his left foot. It's headed up in the air. Nuevo gets a head to it as well, but it's still alive. And Zebra was scrambling across his goal, but luckily it goes behind. All right, throw in our half. Santos to take it. Wildly goes into our own box with it. It's a good job we were 4-0 up at that point. That throw was... he's got 4 players he can throw to down the line, but decides to throw to a player on the edge of our own area who's marked. And then it was a decent pass and a decent finish, but I mean, we've basically given them that goal. All right, Rackler intercepts the pass. Dusink onto Perez, out wide to Cochise. Nuevo into the box, looking for his hat trick. Tried to go on the near post. It was too easy for the keeper. All right, Rackler with a free kick into Nuevo. Rackler again. To Santos, down the line to Luis Roberto. He loses out. And now they're bringing the ball through the middle of the pitch, but Rackler intercepts again. Cochise gives it away. We've basically decided this game's won and just taken our foot off the gas here. Santos has just kicked their player and given away a penalty by the looks of it. I'd be genuinely amazed if this isn't a penalty, because it certainly looked like he just kicked him in the back of the leg. Oh. Can't help but feel we got away with that one. It certainly looked like he just kicked him for no reason. And there we go, full time. We had a bit of a calamity at full time. It didn't bring up the end of game screen and didn't continue and everything like that. But luckily we managed to get past that now. So we've won 4-1. For the 4th time in the save, we now play Rangers in the final. They've won 2 of them. We've won 1. So hopefully we can even it up at 2 apiece. But obviously, looking at all the match stats there, it was a pretty comfortable victory. And hopefully we can just continue on with how we've been playing. We are approaching the end of November, and since the semi-final of the League Cup, things have continued on in a really good run. We have actually even managed to win a game in the Champions League as well. So first up was the home game against Dinamo in the Champions League. We went 1-0 up, they equalised, we went 2-1 up and 3-1 up, and then Catlin Dumitru was sent off for a wild lunge. We then got a penalty and went 4-1 up. At half time, we took off Casanova to bring on Cochise, formerly of Dinamo, who could play on the right wing so that we would play without a centre forward, but we had the rest of the balance of the team was there. They scored to make it 4-2. We practically went up the other end and made it 5-2. And then they got another one just to make it a bit tense towards the end, but we ended up winning 5-3. Then we were home to Dundee United in the league and got off to a start like we did against them when they beat us earlier on in the season. They took the lead, although this time we were able to go straight up the other end and score. We went 2-1 up just before half-time, and then Casanova scored a penalty just to really seal the deal in the last 10 minutes. And then in the most recent game, we went away to Hibs. Got off to a great start with a goal in the first minute, and then just controlled the game from then on and came out with a 4-0 victory. Next, we've got AC Milan in the Champions League, and the victory against Dinamo has us in 27th position. We've got 1 win from the 4 games. AC Milan are just above us. They've got 1 win and 1 draw from the 4 games. So really, we need to win this game if we're going to stand a chance of really qualifying, I think. I know we've got, I think, Chelsea to come in December, and then the games in January aren't that great. So if we can pick up a victory against Milan at home, hopefully then we can start to progress in that competition. And then as far as the league's concerned, we're still top. We're 3 points clear of Rangers, 6 points clear of Celtic. And And we just sort of keep chugging along. We've had that one defeat against Dundee United at the very beginning of the season. We've drawn twice against Aberdeen, but we've beaten everyone else. And we're doing pretty well considering the major surgery that was done to the squad in the summer. But now, of course, the tension turns to the Champions League and a big game at home against AC Milan. So this is the side we've picked to go into the game against Milan. We've made one change from that last league game, with Dumitru having been sent off in the last Champions League game. He's suspended, so Calvin Ramsey's coming at right back. And hopefully we can get something out of this game. Not much happening early on in this game. They've had all the possession. We've had the only shots of the game, but obviously not good enough for there to be a highlight shown. Right, first highlight of the game, and they haven't had a shot yet, so if this goes in, they're into the box. Luckily that was straight at Zebra. But if that's the quality of shot that it takes to get a highlight, our shots must have been abysmal so far. Right, again they're coming down that right hand side. They've gone all the way back to the keeper though. Pardo, Timber onto João Pedro, again all the way back to the keeper. And again back to the keeper. And Thiau's ball cut out by Casanova. Laterna into Bausere, but he was offside. And there we go, half time, a half of very, very few chances. Or very few decent chances anyway. And we've had most of them, but not very good. They've had most of the possession, largely because they seem to just be passing it about at the back without looking to go forward. But we could do with being a bit better in the second half. Right, we've made a couple of changes at the start of the second half. Medina was knackered, so Dusink's come on to the midfield, and Luis Roberto's come on for Deli Basic. Right, free kick right on the edge of the box. Dusink up to the back post. It can't possibly be offside. Rackler headed it back across goal. Casanova smashes it home. And it's been given right on the edge of the area. Thought it had gone a bit long, but Rackler heads it back. The keeper makes a block. And then Casanova fires it into an empty net and puts us 1-0 up. Right, a corner. Luis Roberto swings this one in. Hideroa got his head to it. The keeper's turned it behind for another one. Again, Luis Roberto's going to take it. Again, swings it in. And this time Hideroa heads it over the top. I would quite like another goal just to make it a bit more secure, but João Pedro with a free kick into the edge of the area. Quentin Timber out wide to Thiau. First shot's blocked. Forced them back to the halfway line, but they've still got it. Thiau into the box. And that's why we could have done with an extra goal. It was far too easy for the ball. So it comes out to Thiau. Just no one went with Ferhat. And then it's just a simple tap in for Niestrup once the ball gets to him. Right, free kick for them. Niestrup takes it, goes for goal, hits the bar. It's still alive. Salamanca gets it out. Luis Roberto was chasing to try and keep it in, but can't. And we are hanging on a bit here. And there we go. Full time, 1-1 draw. Not the worst result, but it is a result that means we're going to have our work cut out for us in trying to make it into the knockout stage of the Champions League this season. We've got Chelsea left to come in December, and then the last two games are probably going to be the games that decide whether we get into the knockout stage against Galatasaray and Nordsjælland. We're right kind of on the bubble at the moment, but that's before a lot of teams have played their fifth game. So it's going to be a real struggle, I think, to make it into the knockout stages this year. And there we have it, the end of another episode, and things are going well, at least domestically. Champions League, as we said, it's going to be a bit of a stroll to make it into the knockout stages now, which is pretty understandable. I mean, the squad has taken a big step back with the players that we sold in the summer, but things, like I say, domestically are going well. We're still top of the table. We're 3 points clear. We've got the League Cup final coming up in the next episode as well. So join us next time to see how we get on in that game. Yet another League Cup final, the fourth one we've had in this save against Rangers. We've won 1, they've won 2, so hopefully we can even it up. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.